Welcome to my cluttered garage. I'm really glad you're here. A place where we can laugh and talk and days are filled with cheer. The clouds of Sunday come and go, but one thing's always clear. Welcome back, my friend. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, my friends. Welcome to live stream number 188. It's March 3rd, 2025, and that can mean only two things. First of all, it means that spring is right around the corner. Also means my birthday's coming up. All the March babies out there, let's hear it for you. Ooh, can we do I thought it would do the fireworks. I still haven't figured that thing out yet. Anyway, welcome to the live stream. I truly am really glad you're here. If it is your first time here, please say hi in the live chat, because this is indeed an interactive live chat. So say hi so we can welcome you properly. You can also find the channel on, well, you might be watching from YouTube or Facebook because I'm streaming to both platforms. But you can also follow the channel on Instagram and TikTok, where I upload, Instagram-y things and TikTok-y things sometimes. So it's just another way to follow the channel. We do this Monday nights, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I don't keep you here more than an hour. And that's what we do. Tonight's show, well, we're just going to talk live chat interaction, answer questions, and see how everybody is doing. Speaking of questions, if you do have a question, just post it in the live chat with the word question followed by the question, and I will try to answer your question. And then a little bit later on, we'll do the Monday night sticker giveaway. Our winner last week was Steven, and maybe tonight you'll be the winner, and you'll get some stickers. And while you're here, if you would click that thumbs up button, just like that, Facebook or YouTube, I'd appreciate it. What else do we have here? What other announcements? Not much, because I was busy up until just about half an hour ago when I come up here and set the live stream up. So I don't have too much else here, but let me look at the comments. I was out working on the Ford Ranger. We can talk about that a little bit, but I think, well, I definitely have it fixed for now, unless there's another issue which caused the previous issue, but I fixed the issue that was at hand. Looks like Dave from RCAF Polar Express was the first one here tonight. So congratulations to you, Dave. Dave was here. He checked in at 6:32 p.m., almost a full 30 minutes before we started. But it was good to see you, Dave. Oh, and then he had to leave to have his dinner, his supper, spelled with two P's. And then Dave changed it to I'm going to eat right now. Anyway, I'm not going to tease you, Dave. I was going to tease you. I'll tease you. Because, David, I think, speaks a couple different languages, French and English. So, anyway, and I thought, now he speaks in Irish, too. Enjoying his super. How was your super, Dave? Super Dave. Right. So, I am excited, though, that spring is coming. We had a little teaser last week. It was so nice. It was like was almost 60 degrees, and we're getting that again coming up. And then it turned like 20 again last night to remind us it's not spring yet, but it is coming, and daylight savings is coming, and that's just a great time of year. So let me look at some comments here. Who's your handyman? Good to see you. Planting tomato seed starters. Excellent, because Ann just mentioned that. Maybe it was today. She said, I'd like to start our seeds indoors this time. I've done that before. You get the little seed pods and stick them in, and they grow. Water and light. And Chris, my gosh, your computer died. I'm sorry to hear that. You're watching on TV, big screen, and you're commenting from your phone. All right, well, you're doing a good job with that. Sorry about your computer. I hope it can be easily rectified. Bob Purrs is here, and Margaret, and wait, Ross on the land. Hello, Ross on the land. What'd you do on your land today, Ross? We've got a lot going on here at the house. One advantage to following on Facebook is that you see some other things that you might not see on YouTube, because Facebook, Instagram, I post just photos, and YouTube has that community tab where you can post photos. I do that, but I don't know how many people see that, or I don't know if that ever really took off. It was kind of YouTube's competition with Facebook, I suppose. But on Facebook, I'll post photos, or on Instagram. So we are adding to the house. So we're having a room added off the back because we've had a few family gatherings here, and we took our time. We said, well, let's live in the house for at least a year and get a feel for it. And of course, we knew that we wanted to add this shed dormer right away. It was kind of a no-brainer because I couldn't even walk in this room before. With that, you can see the sharp peak right there. So I had like 3 feet that I could stand without bumping my head. So we knocked out this shed dormer and made 2 rooms up here. I mean, it was the best thing we could have possibly done. Having said that, living here longer, and we've had a few family gatherings and whatnot, and the old farmhouse just doesn't have any open space. We have little rooms, the little, what we call the hearth room, where we put the wood stove, and then the living room. 2 little rooms, like 15 by 15 or so, if that, not even that probably. Very difficult to have any kind of seating or standing capacity. So we've decided we're going to add on to the back of the house a room. It's like 16 by 20, something like that. And that will be a space that we can use for just a bigger space, basically. So that's very exciting to be doing that. And I am shooting some video of that. I don't know if I'll share it on the channel or not, because people don't watch for home improvement videos and those kind of things. But still, I might share it. But I am sharing some photos on Facebook. Thomas, good to see you. Jeffrey, thanks for being here tonight. And Triple T, good to see Triple T. And I see Wade. Good to see you, Wade, and Chevhead Ed. The rural world is it's a great world to be in, right? All right, so Chris, let's just go. And there's Kyle from Spicer Designs. By the way, Kyle, I'm gonna call you out, Kyle, right here, if you're still listening. I met Kyle at the National Farm Machinery Show. He was hanging out with Adam from Hometown Acres. I guess you guys are neighbors or close enough, whatever. I don't know where anybody is. But anyway, I met Kyle from Spicer Designs, and I'm sorry to say, Kyle, that I wasn't really familiar with your channel. I think I'd seen some things. But anyway, Kyle has a really cool channel. And I would recommend you go over to Spicer Designs and check that out. But anyway, Kyle, let's chat sometime, because maybe you can come here as a guest and talk about some of the things you're doing over there, which is interesting and entertaining. Tilled my garden. Tilling time is coming up soon, I guess. We're going to want to, we wait until there's no danger of frost. I said to Ann the other day, she's like, when do we plant, the tomato plants outside? And I said, well, after the last frost. And she's like, well, how do you know when the last frost is? And how do you know when the last frost is? You don't know that. You know when the first frost is, but you never really know when the last frost is. So, Peterson Farms of Little Nashville just got done feeding the chickens. Well, they're happy chickens. I just got done feeding Kermit a little while ago. Kermit the lamb. He's doing really well. If you remember, Irma, or Ermelinda, joined us last summer, an orphan lamb that we rescued. We bottle fed Irma. She was probably this close to not making it, but she pulled through, and she's doing great. So now she's no longer a lamb, she's a sheep. We kept saying maybe we should get a friend for her. I don't know. Well, as it turned out, there was another orphan lamb this year that we rescued from the same farm, and again was a little tricky. Lambs are always tricky to try and rescue. Sometimes they're very hardy and they survive. They can be born when it's 12 degrees outside and survive. Other times you can do anything and you can do everything and they won't survive. So anyway, we got Kermit to feed on the bottle. He's like a month old now, maybe a little older than that, and he is doing exceptionally well. So now we have 2 sheep, Kermit and Irma. They are, as far as I know, half siblings. I had said in one of my videos that I thought half siblings or siblings could mate or breed. There's like a rule, and I had it backwards. Apparently, well, you just can't do it. It's cross interbreeding, whatever. Don't do it. Don't do it. So Kermit is going to be modified, and he will be a non-productive male. I mean, he'll be productive. He'll eat the grass. He'll do productive things. You know what I mean? But he just won't be. Well, we'll say he lost his marbles, right? We'll say he's Mounds now, not Almond Joy. But he's friendly and he's a good little guy. I'm looking through comments here. I see another name, Michael and Colin from Eastern Canada. Good to see you, Colin. I had a nice message today from a gentleman in France, and that was really kind. So thank you for reaching out to me today. And I sent the message back, because you can message me on Facebook. You can email me. There's a email address you can find on the YouTube About Me section, I think it's called. But anyway, you can contact me through email or Facebook Messenger. Sometimes I don't see those right away, but ultimately I do. I know some people have their email turned off and you can't contact them at all. I want to keep mine turned on unless it becomes overwhelming, which so far it is not. Okay, Kyle, Southern Indiana. Right, let's do it. Let's connect. Money Pit Homestead, Donald and Lisa, good to see you. And Woodster 300. All right. Yeah, Woodster's saying, question. You should share the farm updates. I think most people would enjoy it. That's not a question. That's a statement. You should do that. Are you telling me to stop talking about what the other things I'm talking about and talk about the farm updates? We can do that. We can do that. That way I can. Well, I'll just do that right now, because again, we're kind of free rolling and whatnot. So, farm updates. Well, we had a little break from all the work we were doing in the summer, because this is a heavily wooded property. We've got 33 acres here, and about 29 of it, 30, is wooded. We have the 3-acre hayfield, and then the house itself, of course, is on another half acre or so with the barn and all. But the rest is wooded, and it is a very established property. The forest, there are trees back there that are probably 100 years old or more. So what's nice is it's a established forest, so it's walkable. There's open spaces under the trees. If you have a younger forest, it's just brush mixed in with trees, and you can't get through it. And at the other property, there was a field next to our house that we did not own, and when the person bought that property, they just didn't touch it. It was just a couple acres, but they didn't touch it at all. So it had been mowed and maintained, and then they stopped. And within 5 years, it was small trees that were growing up, and along with the wild rose bushes and thorns and all those kind of things. So for like a decade, probably like 10 years, you could not get through that property because it was just that thick with brush and trees, and it gets to a point where it's too big to mow down, but you can't mow between things. So it was a new forest. And then probably 20 years went by, and you could finally get through there, because as the trees grow, they create that canopy and they kill off some of the undergrowth. Point is, we have a very well established forest here, but there are places where there are, I believe they're called Japanese barberry. They're a very invasive species, and we've been using the brush mulcher to get rid of those, to open up some of the forest floor, and we have a lot more of that to do. The multifloral rose bushes are nasty, along with just regular old briars, which are amazing. I don't know with briars or sticker bushes, but they're like 100. They're these little stalks, and they're like 100 feet tall. They go all the way up in the trees, and we cut them at the bottom and pull them out. So we're working on that, and of course I should be doing more firewood, but I haven't done that. Yeah, there's a lot going on here at the property, and of course solar. We had solar panels installed 2 weeks ago, and we're waiting for the electric company to approve that so they can actually turn them on. They're not connected yet, so we're not benefiting from them at this point. So thanks for that question. You know what I'll do is I'll take notes sometime, and that way I'll kind of know things to talk about, because these are just kind of rolling off the top of my head. But that's what's going on. Ronnie, that's an interesting point. Ronnie says, they always said for every fog in February, you will have a frost in May. All right. So if you have a foggy day in February, you'll have a frost in May. Okay. Well, did we have fog in February? I don't know. I'll have to keep that in mind. There's Joe. There's Richard from Massachusetts. Good to see you folks here tonight. Thank you, David, for the reminder to smash that like button. Appreciate that. And we'll continue to look at some comments here. John, thank you for that super chat. That's really generous and much appreciated. You are so kind. So kind. What's that fund for? Did I say something about that? Am I missing that? Jeff, thank you for watching the Sawmill video. I really did enjoy that. We went over to neighbor Brian's house. If you haven't seen that video yet, you'll want to check that out. I know that Chris is not working from his computer, so he's probably not able to share the way he would before, but Chris is always good at sharing a link. So anyway, Chris or somebody else, if you find the link to that video of the Sawmill video, you can share that in the live chat, and then folks can click on that after watching this, or you can right-click on it and open it in a new tab and then save it for afterwards. But anyway, the Sawmill video. Yeah, we had been planning that for well over a year. When we bought the farm here, it was summer of 2023. And the first thing we did, in partnership with Phil and Lucinda, the previous owners, there was a big oak tree on the back corner of the barn. It was leaning toward the barn. It was dying, and it's a huge oak tree, red oak tree, and that had to come down. So we had that taken down, and it was even too big to cut it for firewood. I mean, the thing was like 3 feet in diameter, maybe 4 feet at the bottom or more. so we had it cut down. They cut it into 10-foot pieces for me. I couldn't even move it. I couldn't get it out from behind the barn because it was so heavy. So Brian has the sawmill. He brought over his front end loader and his dump trailer, and he loaded up these big logs and brought them to his tree farm. And he said, sometime we'll mill them and do something with them. And that was 2023. Maybe he moved them in 2024. And then, of course, nephew Phil is building a countertop, and he wanted to have some slab oak for that. And I think Phil might have asked me if I knew anybody. I'm like, as a matter of fact, I do. So the fun thing is that the tree came from this property. We milled it at Brian's. The 2-inch slabs are going to my niece and her husband. They're going to make a countertop out of it, so it's kind of all stays local, which is neat. And then Brian very generously cut up some 7/8 pieces for me with the rest of the, and this was just one of the logs. There were like 2 or 3 more. But since he had it set up, we decided to cut some 7/8 pieces. Some of them are 12 inches wide. And the idea of going 7/8 is that you can plane it down to 3/4 and have nice lumber there. So I've got a lot of 7/8 boards now. We carried them up to the second floor of the barn, and I need to go up there soon and stack the wood. I have it stacked, but I need to put stickers between it, the 3/4 inch pieces of wood, so that they can be ventilated and aired out. I should either strap it together or weigh it down, and then that wood will dry takes 1 year per inch to cure or dry your wood. Really, I shouldn't do anything with that wood for a year, which I probably wouldn't anyway. But yeah, so that was really fun to see that mill in action. And when are you getting one? Yeah, I would like to get one. I've been thinking about it for years, actually. I was spoiled by watching Brian's mill because his is a big mill with a diesel engine. It's fully hydraulic, so it rotates the log for you and has the log lift. Anything I've looked at, it was just a little hobby mill where you manually push the head through the log, which is fine. But I could see where if you do anything more than a few hobby pieces, you'd want what he had there because it was automatic tracking and raising and lowering the head and all. Really nice, really fancy. But he also said it's very finicky as well. He said to me that he sometimes envies the people who have the manual mills because there's just so much less to break down. His has all these servos, electric motors, hydraulics, and he just said it can be pretty finicky, which makes sense. But he would never be able to do the volume that he's done, I guess, in the past. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. So, hey, there's our friend Neil Kof. Neil was a guest here on the live stream. Back when he had a little channel like mine, but then Neil exploded in his popularity and is doing great, and we're so happy to see that. And it was great to meet Neil in person at the Farm Machinery Show. And if you watch that video about the Farm Machinery Show, Neil was like, haven't we already met? Like, I thought we already met in person. Like, that's the cool thing about meeting people online like this. Of course, being on the live stream and chatting, you do feel like you know the person already. So that was the case time and time again when you meet up with somebody that you hadn't met in person. It's like, I kind of feel like we already did, but good thing. And you got a Monday off. Good deal, because the truck's all done now, right? The big Ford dump truck. I'm sure you have other projects going on, though. Good to see you. All right, so, yeah. So the other thing I was going to talk about, and basically talking about the latest videos, that's usually what I talk about, because those are fresh in your mind if you watch them. They're fresh in my mind because I just made them. I did the Sawmill video on Saturday. It was a busy weekend. Went to Brian's on Saturday and did the Sawmill video, edited it Saturday afternoon. No, wait, how did this go? I shot the video on Saturday. I came home for a short break, and then I decided to go to another farm machinery auction because they don't happen all that often. So I went to the one in February, and then this other one, which is pretty local too, was being held on March 1st, and it was from like 9 to 5, and I got home from milling the wood at like 3 o'clock, and I was like, I'm just gonna skip the auction. But then I thought I should go because I haven't been to that one before. So I went to the auction, and then I recorded at the auction for like 2 hours, and got some footage. And I didn't really know how I was going to do the video because the first video from just a few weeks ago was really just showing the auction, and people really enjoyed it. I think in the same way that I enjoy going to the auctions, as I said in the video, it's kind of nostalgic. It's like a very Americana feeling when you're there. Especially if you haven't been to one for a while. Like I would go to auctions when I was a lot younger, and I hadn't gone for several years. So when I went back to an auction, it was like, wow, nothing's changed. Like it's just a neat feeling to be here. So I think it's very Americana. I don't know how they do auctions in other countries, if they're similar or not, but it's just really a neat thing. So folks really enjoyed that video. It did very well in views. So I thought, let me go to this auction and get some footage here. I didn't know how I would cover it any differently, but then I had the idea as I was there was let me try and guess what things will go for. And that sort of evolved as I was there, and I started to guess, and I would say on camera like, oh, I think this is going to go for $2,500, and then record the auctioneer and see how close I was. So that was really kind of a fun game for me. And maybe if I find another auction, we'll do that again, and that'll kind of be the premise going forward. So I'll know, like to record things in that kind of format. But anyway, there were like 5 or 6 items where I guessed, and it was really fun to really hit it on the head for a couple things, and I wasn't really too far off on nothing really surprised me. I don't know if that's because I'm that good at guessing or not, but it was kind of fun to do that. So that's what we did, and you can certainly check out that video, and you can play along, and before the auctioneer rattles it off, you can guess how much things will go for. I felt like things were going, I don't want to say cheap, but I thought they were reasonable. I don't know. I think it's rare to get a great deal anymore because there's so many people, and with bidding, they get caught up in it. And I've seen people overpay at the other auction. For example, a guy bought a farm gate, and he paid like $20 less than a brand new one. I mean, it was new, but it was not from the store. But I looked it up, and if it was the same gate that I thought it was, he only paid $20 less. So you have to know what you're buying when you do that. So, but that was fun. I enjoyed that, so then I edited the Sawmill video Saturday night when I got back from the auction, and uploaded that. I guess it was Sunday morning, and then I edited the auction video. I guess it was last night. Yeah, late last night. I was up past midnight. I edited the auction video last night and posted it at like 8 a.m. today. So a little busy there with whatnot. If at the end of the auction, I was really cold, by the way, and I got in the truck, the Ford Ranger, and I was about 2 miles away from the auction, and I'm like, why is there no heat coming out of this truck? And then I realized it was overheating. I pulled over, and yes, the Ranger was towed home from that point. I don't know why we bought AAA. We haven't had it in the past, but last year we bought a membership to it, and I guess it was a good deal. I had used it at work a couple times because where I worked, we had a AAA membership, a commercial one, and a couple times I used it, and it was nice. So we got it, and I almost forgot that I had it. But so the truck died, and it dumped all the coolant out of the truck because it was a T connector, plastic T connector that just got brittle and shattered. And I thought, I can't add water to drive this truck home because it's a 3/4 inch hose. It's just going to blow it all out immediately. I didn't want to mess with trying to tow it home myself, even though I do. Well, yeah, I have the car trailer, but that would have been a pain in the neck. Anyway, AAA, it paid for itself with that one tow job. Now, the only problem is you have to wait sometimes. Like I had to wait almost an hour and a half for the truck to arrive, but I just had my phone with a full charge, and not hard to wait when you can get occupied with watching YouTube videos and things like that. So it wasn't too bad. But I just fixed the Ranger tonight. I did it. What I found was, and I'm rambling here, I know, but we'll do a sticker giveaway shortly. But you might be very interested in what happened to the Ford Ranger. So it was a plastic T connector. You got the 3/4 inch heater hose, and it's down on the left side of the engine, right above the starter, really tight to get in there. But I could see it was the T connector, so I had the 3/4 inch hose, and then there was a 3/8 hose going from there. And I looked it up, and it was the coolant return hose. So I think basically what it is the 3/4 hose is the heater hose, but then it has this little T, which I guess bleeds air out to the little coolant overflow tank. So, and I noticed the T connector was like molded onto the hose. It was very strange. And then I looked it up. I did some more research online, and I found out that it was molded onto the hose, and it was an entire hose assembly that connects to the engine and wraps around. It was like $140 for this hose assembly, which I would have been willing to pay. I checked Rock Auto. I checked local auto parts stores. I checked some of the other online auto stores, and every one of them said not available. So I don't know what happened. Like it just, maybe if I went to a Ford dealer, but then it would have probably been $300. So I did some more research online, and somebody suggested that they said just break that plastic off of the hose and put a T connector in there. So I went to the local Napa store, and I got a 3/4 by 3/4 by 3/8 T made for a heating assembly, and it would have been pretty easy, but the problem is this connector being above the starter was in such a tight spot that I could reach part of it from up top, but I couldn't get my other arm in there to hold the connector to put it together. Underneath, I could reach one side, but so if I had somebody here, I guess, who was willing to lie under the truck, and hold one end while I pushed down from the top, probably could have done that, but I basically just put some Windex on it and was able to finagle it in place, and I had the hose clamps, and I was able to carefully tighten those up. At any rate, I got it. It's all put back together. Took 2 full gallons of coolant, and I rode it around the block. And of course, around the block is like 4 miles. Rode it around the block, and so far, everything seems okay. So I'm hoping that it was just the fact that the plastic T connection was 23 years old and brittle. I hope it wasn't any other problem. Now, of course, those heater hoses are still old. That could be a problem, but that part wasn't available. So that's what happened with the Ranger, but it's going again. And that's the problem with these old vehicles. Like, that truck runs fantastic. Doesn't smoke, doesn't seem to burn any oil. It's got the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine, which I believe is a Mazda engine. The truck is tight. The steering, everything feels tight. It shifts good. It's a 5-speed manual transmission. Clutch feels good. it's just a good little truck. It doesn't have any rust on it because it was a one-owner car from Florida. It's been banged up a little bit here and there, but I don't care about that for just a little runaround truck. But it's still old. I when I'm driving, I'm thinking I would drive this truck anywhere, but that's what happens. You have these problems like that T-connector that just shattered. There's no way to predict that. And when you have age on a vehicle, those are the kind of things that just pop up out of nowhere. Who knows what the next issue is going to be, but there is going to be another issue. And it's usually not something major, like the engine's not going to blow, the transmission's not going to go out. It's going to be all these little things that go bad. Who knows what? Could be electrical. I don't know. So, actually, who's your handyman? I didn't check the oil yet. Don't jinx me here, man, because I think I'm okay. But no, I didn't check the oil because I honestly, I literally finished fixing the truck, washed my hands, and came up here to get the live stream going. So I haven't checked the oil, but I will. But no, it shouldn't be a problem. Remember the Jeep had a blown head gasket. No, it had a cracked head, and that was injecting combustion into the radiator, causing the radiator to have excessive pressure, and it blew the radiator hoses. Does this sound similar to that? Is that why it would cause pressure? No. Don't get me thinking about that. It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. But I will check the wheel tomorrow morning. All right. And the Jeep, I don't have the Jeep. I did some videos on that. I love Jeeps, but I bought this Jeep, got it for a good deal from a friend who lives in town, and with the cracked head, I told him, I'm going to fix it. I'm either going to keep it, I might sell it. And they said, good luck. If you can make money with it, good for you. But yeah, I liked the Jeep, but they don't make a lot of sense. They're way fun, but they're not practical. It's basically a two-seater. It has the little back seat, but we're not going to put anybody back there. So basically a two-seater. Doesn't have a whole lot of room in the back. They're not economical. They don't get good fuel mileage. They don't handle really well. They're just a fun vehicle, and I won't ever take that away from them, but it's just not practical. So I decided to sell the Jeep, and I did, get my money back. I didn't get paid for all my hours, but I made money on the Jeep dollar for dollar. And I took the money that I sold the Jeep for, and I bought this 2002 Ford Ranger, which is a lot more practical. I really love that little truck because I made a short video about my F-150, that the one thing I don't like about the F-150 is that it's too high in the back. I don't have the step, the bumper, the tailgate step that they offer as an option. My truck didn't come with that, so I don't have that. It's the sport package. It's 4-wheel drive, and it's really high in the back. Like, it's probably at least 2 inches higher than it needs to be, and you can't reach over the side rail and touch the bed. If there's something in the bed you want to get to, you can't get to it. I can't get up in it very easily because it's like the tailgate sits at least 3 feet, maybe 40 inches off the ground, maybe 42 inches off the ground. Probably not that tall, but I had to hop up there backwards, and it's just not convenient. The Ranger, which is not good for towing anything or big loads, but it's got a 6-foot bed, which is about the size of the F-150, not as wide, but I specifically wanted a base Ranger with 2-wheel drive. I didn't care about 4-wheel drive for this because it's just going to be a dump runner and a farm truck. I love it because you can reach over the side, you can reach the middle of the bed. It holds a good amount. They even hold a good amount of weight. It's a neat little truck, and I like it a lot. So I plan on keeping it unless I upgrade it with something different. I don't know. I do like those Ford Mavericks. Now, my brother-in-law has one. He might be watching right now. He has the hybrid, and he's had some problems with it. So, but they're very popular, and I'd like a Ford Maverick. I've liked them since they came out, but I'd probably just go with the gas job rather than the hybrid. Or I don't think they have an all-electric one yet, but I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind having a fully electric Maverick because, again, a farm truck, a dump runner, a runaround vehicle. I don't worry about and they're getting up to, 300-400 mile range, which is great. It would work. I think it would work for our situation. But I like the Mavericks. I would like one of those. So, and right, Tony G, it's a beater truck, but I still take care of them. I have these beaters, but I feel bad if I scratch it or dent it. I put the new headlights in it because I didn't like how dull they were. So I do, I take some pride in my stuff, even my beaters. But and David had a Ford Ranger, yeah. So they're good. And my nephew put some refrigerant in the air conditioning the other day, and it actually kicked on. So I don't know why it was low. It must have a leak somewhere, but that's good. I guess that's a good sign that the air conditioning could work, because I do like air conditioning. I don't mind it not having an automatic transmission. That's kind of fun to have the manual, but I like air conditioning. I don't care about power windows, any of that stuff, but that's what I like. So let's go over here and do a sticker giveaway. If this is your first time watching the live stream, the way this works is I share a word or a phrase on the screen, and then you type it into the live chat, and then when this song ends, I hit the draw button, and somebody wins these stickers. Both of them. And the unenforceable rules are, if you won these in the past, why don't you pass and let somebody else win them? But if you haven't won these, or if you haven't won both of them, you can play along. So this is what the giveaway is for tonight, which, by the way, as channels grow, you see messages in the comment section of a video that say you've won this or you've won that. I don't do any giveaways in my regular videos. Don't respond to those messages. They're scams. If you see it on other channels that you like, they are a scam. Unless the person has specifically announced that they're doing a giveaway, ignore it. It's a scam, I tell you. All right, so let's do this. In the live chat, type the word #March. Just like that. #March with no spaces. It can be uppercase, it can be lowercase, it can be a combination of uppercase and lowercase. Doesn't matter. Honey Badger don't care. That was for you, Ed. #March. And then we'll draw. You can be from anywhere in the world. Let's watch the number rise as people enter. And I'll bring the music up. Every time I upload one of my live streams, after this, I get a copyright strike from, I think, Facebook or YouTube. And then I have to dispute it, saying this is music that I paid for the rights to use, and then it gets released. But for whatever reason, it gets a copyright strike, and then I have to dispute it. It's not a big deal, but a little bit of a hassle. Oh, I should find the tab. Here we go. Well, pretty soon. Bam! It's Craig from Productive Recreation. Oh, I forgot to turn off the loop track. Its default setting is on, and I forgot to turn it off, so the music started over again. Well, congratulations. And let me share with you my email address, because I need you. I might have had your address from before, but I need you to send me an email, because I don't save them all, at contactmcgtv@gmail.com with your name and your postal mailing address. And I'll send you these stickers right here. So congratulations. Contact mcgtv@gmail.com. Okay. Let's get rid of that. And we'll take a few more questions. See if there's a few more comments here. We'll wrap up, let you get on your way, and then I'm going to leave here, and I'm going to go downstairs because Anne made her famous meatloaf. It's famous right here. It's famous between me and Anne because she does a great job, and that's waiting for me downstairs. Anne's famous meatloaf. Speaking of Anne, I asked her again the other day, why don't you join me on a live stream? People want you to be on a live stream. And she's like, all right, I'll do it, but I need time. I need time to prepare. So, anyway, that's what I talked about. Yes, meatloaf. You know what about, let's talk about meatloaf for a second. Meatloaf is one of those meals, it's like pizza. There are certain meals, pizza and meatloaf, that you can eat warm or cold. Now, meatloaf I've eaten anytime during the day. Pizza especially, though, if you think about pizza, you can have pizza for breakfast, for lunch, or for dinner, or for a snack, and you can have it hot, you can have it cold, you can have it the leftover the next day. Pizza is universal, but meatloaf is also pretty universal that way. As a kid, my mom would make meatloaf, and then for the next couple days, when I would bag my lunch for school, I'd have meatloaf sandwiches in there. And I remember the meatloaf with the ketchup on it and the white Wonder Bread, and I would bite into my mom's meatloaf sandwich, and the white bread would stick to the roof of your mouth. But it was good. It was so good. So there's my little plug for meatloaf. If you've not had it, you should make some if you haven't had any meatloaf for a while, because your body will thank you for it and say, "Oh, I missed this meatloaf. It was so good. I forgot about you, meatloaf." Sometimes I forget about things like tuna. I love tuna, canned tuna. I just thought about it today because I haven't had it for a while. I'm like, oh yeah, I can make tuna. It's been a while. That's where my brain goes. That's how it works. So this live stream is, by the way, I did want to wait before we end. I meant to bring this up earlier. Thanks for hanging in there right to the end, because now I meant to say this earlier. The thumbnail for this video, let me pull it up here. This is, I just updated my MacBook, and it comes with this software or program or app called Playground or something, and you can ask it, it's an AI thing, and you can ask it to do things. So this was just tonight before the live stream, I typed in me doing a podcast, and you can choose the person to put in there, and so it has pictures of me that it pulls from my photos. So AI thinks that this looks like me. It made this artificial intelligence image of me doing a podcast. So what do you think? That's what Apple thinks I look like. Looks like a pretty handsome guy. I like the thick hair because I don't have that. You know, it's here, but it's not as thick as that. That looks good. But you know, I guess I can see a little bit of resemblance. But that was the AI thumbnail. Maybe I'll try some more of those. It's kind of fun messing with that. And it's original, you know, that image doesn't exist anywhere else. just here, and it just was manufactured tonight in the mind of AI. Crazy, right? AI is getting frightening, I have to say. I don't know where it's going. I think it has a lot of exciting potential, but it's also frightening because we already struggle with truth versus reality, or truth versus, well, truth and fact are the same thing, I guess. Fact versus fiction. It's already difficult, and AI is going to screw that up big time, but it will provide jobs for, I guess, for fact checkers. It used to be the old days that somebody would get an old 8mm film and they would scratch the film and they would say, "Look, a UFO," and they would debunk it and say, "No, that's a scratch in the film." AI is going to be challenging. I've seen some things that it's AI because it's so bizarre that it can't be true, but as they make things that could be true, you're going to be like, I don't know if that seems true to me. So kind of tough. That's a whole different discussion, and we'll see where that goes. Anyway, it's Monday, March 3rd, and I hope to see you next week. I hope that you'll continue to watch the videos after this live stream. If you have some time, go to the channel, click on videos, look through any videos you haven't seen yet, and watch those videos, because that is what pays the bills here. There's no cost to subscribe. There's no cost to watch anything, but I enjoy making the content. It's a lot of fun, but fun doesn't pay the bills. But you watching the videos, that pays the bills. So I appreciate it. I really do. It means so much to me that you follow along and you participate and you support me, by watching, but you support me emotionally too with your comments and everything. So thanks so much for that. I do appreciate it. Do have a great week. Know that spring is coming. And as always, I look forward to seeing you next time.